Hello and welcome back to the Todoist channel. My name is Naomi and today we're going to dive into a productivity method which just happens to be one of my favourites, called time blocking. So what is time blocking? Time blocking is a time management strategy which is dedicated to dividing your time into chunks throughout the day, each with the purpose of completing either a single task or a set of tasks. Unlike using your to-do list to dictate your day, which at times can feel open-ended and sometimes never-ending, having a time blocking schedule can help you create a concrete schedule so that you know exactly what you're going to work on and when. Now, the secret to this method lies in prioritizing time ahead of your week to figure out what you're going to do that week and what your time blocks are going to look like. That pre-planning really is essential whenever it comes to time blocking. So time blocking can often get confused for some other time management methods, such as task batching, day theming, and time boxing, which I know all sound very similar to time blocking, but there are some distinct differences, so let me go through those now. Task batching involves grouping similar tasks together and completing them in one go. Day theming involves dictating each day to a particular theme or type of work. And time boxing involves setting a fixed amount of time for each task and sticking to it. So the reason to try out time blocking is that it can really help you regain some kind of control over your workday. If you juggle multiple projects, are struggling with constant interruptions, you find your week is getting chopped up by meetings, or even like me, you just simply struggle to focus sometimes, then time blocking could really be the thing that helps you out. With time blocking, you're going to start each day with a very clear picture of what it is you want to achieve in that day, which can really reduce decision fatigue and that feeling of overwhelm that we can get whenever we have a lot of things we want to achieve. I personally find that whenever I schedule a chunk of time in the day that I know I'm going to dedicate either to a task or a group of tasks, that I can really pull all of my mental focus to that one thing without feeling like it's getting spread thinly across multiple things. And the more you single task, the more you will actually build up that muscle for deep focus, and it becomes slightly easier then to pull yourself into that mode whenever you need to. And if you get off task and distracted, you have a very handy dandy little time blocking schedule that you can refer to remind yourself what you're supposed to be doing with that specific time. Time blocking also helps me knock out niggly distracting tasks. So for me, that's email management. It's not really core to my workload, but it's something I definitely need to stay on top of. So assigning a time block to managing my emails helps me stay focused and rattle through them as quickly as possible. Now you might be wondering, will time blocking work with your job? If you work in a reactive space, somewhere where you have a lot of input into what your workday looks like, maybe you work in customer support, maybe you're a shift worker, you may be thinking that this isn't for you. We would argue that in most cases, yes, time blocking can help, even if you can only assert a little bit of control over what happens within your workday. Cal Newport, who's the author of Deep Work, actually put this very well. He said, "Periods of open-ended reactivity can be blocked off like any other type of obligation. Even if you're blocking most of your day for reactive work, for example, the fact that you're controlling your schedule will allow you to dedicate some small blocks, perhaps at the schedule periphery, to deeper pursuits. When your workday is run by external forces, it can be quite easy to lose sense of your own goals. So any little pockets of time that you can find to time block could be useful." Now, as with any new strategy, there are potential pitfalls, and don't worry, we are going to go through those and I'm going to try and help you avoid them. Don't underestimate how long a task will take. Be realistic, maybe initially schedule a little bit more time than you think it's going to be, or give yourself a little bit of buffer time, because quite often we will underestimate the amount of time that something is going to take. So in the beginning, until you get a handle of it, I think it's wise to overestimate your time. Remember to include breaks. When I started time blocking, this was something that I really struggled with. Everything was allocated to something productive, all of the hours I had in a day. And while it looks really nice in your calendar, it is not very good for your mind, body, and soul. So I would suggest that you schedule breaks in, and it's entirely up to you whether you want to make those blocks in and of themselves, or some people seem to feel that psychologically it works for them to just have a space, a gap where there's nothing scheduled at all. Which brings me to, don't overschedule your free time. It can be quite tempting whenever you start time blocking to want to just schedule absolutely everything into all of these little nooks and crannies in your calendar, but sometimes it's a bit more freeing to have that open space. You might even just create the block and call it free time, and then decide what to do with it when you get to it. Stay flexible. If a task is taking longer than you anticipated, or you have some kind of interruption in your workday, or some kind of interruption in your personal life, these things just happen and they're going to happen regardless. A lot of the time I have to adjust my time blocks, and that's okay. That's just part and parcel of trying to be a productive person, is trying to do what you can with the time that you have. And then last but certainly not least, and where I think a lot of people fall down, is that they schedule their calendar, they've all these beautiful time blocks, it all feels really aligned with what they want to do, and then they forget to look at it. They just don't adhere to the plan that they've already set for themselves. So remember to look at your time blocks, not just in the morning, but also throughout the day. You can easily implement time blocking with your favorite calendar app, or even just a pen and paper. But if you really want to level up your productivity superpowers, I am going to show you how to time block using Todoist. We're going to take two different types of time blocking. The first one we're going to tackle is task batching. First, you're going to decide on some broad categories that you want to get to whenever it comes to your daily or weekly tasks. So for your workday, that might be emails, sales, meetings, writing. And for your own time too, you might want to consider something like exercise, meal prep, planning time, free time. Now, sit down with your favorite calendar app or a planner or a pen and paper, and you're going to sketch out what those time blocks will look like throughout your week. The end result could look something like this. So now you have your time blocks for each category, but you still need to figure out what kind of tasks you're going to do within those time blocks. That is where Todoist comes in. All you need to do is create a Todoist label for each batched category of tasks that you've come up with in your time blocking system. Then review all of your current tasks and assign them one of your labels. Now, when you come to a time block in your schedule, all you have to do is select that label within Todoist, and you will be met with a list of tasks that correspond only to that time block. And the second type of time blocking that we're going to focus on now is scheduling time blocks for specific tasks. If you want to keep a more granular schedule, and this is how I personally like to work with time blocks, it's quite nice to be able to create a time block per task. The easiest way to do that with Todoist is with the two-way integration with Google Calendar. I'll leave a link in the description box below about how you can set up a two-way integration with Todoist in your Google Calendar. But basically it allows any Todoist task to turn up in your calendar as an event. It will show up at the date and time that you specified within Todoist. And if you just assign it a date, it'll turn up as an all-day event. Now you can do all of this completely free with Todoist and Google Calendar. However, if you have a paid plan like Pro or Business Plan, then you get to unlock task durations, and that, to me, is the secret sauce. This is a new feature that we've been working on that has been released just ahead of this video, so if you're watching this and you've got a paid plan, you've got access to it now. So let me take a quick minute to walk you through how this works for time blocking. Select your task due date and then time, and set the start time and duration of your task. This forms your time block. You can also add a task's duration with Todoist natural language recognition by typing the start time and then 4 followed by the length of time you think the task will take. So for example, team meeting today at 4 p.m. for 45 minutes, or write first draft 9 a.m. for 2 hours and 30 minutes. If you've connected your Todoist to a calendar app, the task duration will sync to your calendar automatically, and on Google Calendar, vice versa with two-way sync, so you can update your tasks from your calendar. I personally love this because then whenever I open my daily or my weekly schedule in my calendar, if I've got my Todoist calendar toggled on, I can see all of my tasks laid out for exactly how long I think each of them are going to take. And then if I want to edit them within my calendar, the two-way sync, because I use Google Calendar, is going to work with Todoist as well and change my tasks within Todoist. If you would like a deeper dive into time blocking, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below with an article that we have on the Todoist Inspiration Hub that will tell you everything you need to know. That about wraps us up for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give us a like, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!